What scientists have recently come to realize is that the entire ecosystem is infused with fungi. I personally believe habitats and humans share immune systems, and mushroom mycelium is the cellular bridges that knit the two together. We know from our research with agarikon is that they have multiple antiviral agents in them, active against multiple viruses. So I see these as deep reservoirs of antiviral medicines.
And what we know about these mycelial networks is they're learning membranes. These are self-learning and network-based organisms that can share and store knowledge. The mycelium is vaccinating itself against pathogens in the ecosystem. We can capitalize on this because many of the same bacterial pathogens that infect fungi also can infect animals. We found novel molecules highly active against pox viruses, novel molecules highly active against HPV.
We will have a dangerous viral pandemic. It's on the near event horizon.
But we have barely tapped into the fungal genome, especially of the mushroom-forming fungi. Think of it. Our old growth forests that contain these ancient fungi are deep reservoirs of potential compounds that can fight pandemic viruses. We should save the old growth forests as a matter of national defense. You know, these mushrooms, they can heal you, they can feed you, they can kill you.
It's not like a vegetable, and it's not like an animal, but it's somewhere in between.
They support life, they convert life.
As you're walking, there's about 300 miles of fungi under every footstep that you take, and that's all over the world.
The bulk of the organism is growing underground, and it's composed of these long threads called a mycelium.
Almost everyone knows about the computer internet. The mycelium shares the same network design.
It's amazing what we don't know about mushrooms. They really are a frontier of knowledge.
You can filter water, you can create medicinal compounds almost on demand.
They have incredible capacity to make things change very quickly. So I am super hopeful.
The psychedelic members of the mushroom kingdom are fascinating.
I have been a guide for around 350 psilocybin sessions.
The most glorious part was that it made me feel more comfortable with living because you're not afraid of dying.
We need to have a paradigm shift in our consciousness. What will it take to achieve that?
We can heal the planet. We can build the future. And our world is fantastic.
Understand it was kind of, he cut that, you know, I went, oh, movie, you know, viruses are not bacteria. But anyhow, so that was in 2018, 2 years before COVID. Because I published in Nature on protecting bees from viral pandemics, 75 to 100% of beehives died in the United States this past year. And in Nature, I found the mycelial extracts of these polypore mushrooms reduced viruses in bees more than 45,000 times in 10 days. Double-blind, placebo-controlled animal study outdoors. It's been heralded by many scientists. And then COVID hit, and people knew my work with the BioShield program from my TED 2008 talk. They saw the paper in Nature, or a dramatic reduction in viral pathogens from bees to protect bees from colony collapse disorder. And so then the scientists at UCLA and UC San Diego said, Paul, listen, we want to see if we can use your mushroom mycelium to help people fight COVID. And my BioShield program results, we had extraordinary activity against H5N1, bird flu, and of course orthopoxes that I mentioned. So when they approached me, then they said, what's your best idea? And I said, combining agarikon mycelium and turkey tail mycelium. It's not the fruit bodies, folks. We just published an article in an immuno journal. The journal is called Immuno. It says hot water fruit body extracts precipitate a cytokine storm. Now, the cytokine storm is overexpression of the immune system. The worst thing you could do is take fruit body extracts of mushrooms when you're sick. because water is a solvent and separates the lipids, which are immunomodulating and causes over-immunostimulation. So when we applied for the COVID clinical trial, the FDA says, no, you'll create a cytokine storm. Fortunately, the year before, in the Journal of Inflammation Research, we showed that the mycelium, not the fruit bodies, down-regulated cytokines that cause the cytokine storm, up-regulated anti-inflammatory cytokines. So the FDA approved us. So we have 90 patients. We have just been accepted on Friday to the BMC Immunology. Physicians here all know that journal, a renowned medical journal, and the results are just spectacular. So I'd like to turn it over to Stefan now. That's the preview, but this is going to, the publication is accepted. We're allowed to talk about it. We were under confidentiality. Now we have the official acceptance, so we're allowed to talk about it. Credit to Gordon Sachs and the team at UCSD and Andrew Schubaugh from UCLA Medical School. These are the two leads on the article. And if you'd be so kind to read some of the peer review remarks, they're up. Yeah, here's the peer review marks. I can read it because other people in the back room can't. Taken together, the peer reviewers' comments describe the trial as, quote, well-conceived and methodically sound and highly pertinent clinical study, end quote. That was, quote, well-written, end quote, and, quote, a pleasure to review.
Paul, pleasure to meet you. And can I have the second mic, please? Paul, what made you become the human that you are today and being on this mission?
Well, of course, your life, my life, our health is a multifactorial equation. Sorry, my voice sounds a little strange.
Take your time.
So there's many factors multiplied together that bring us here today. And when you think about all the chance meetings going back in our ancestry, hundreds of thousands of years, I really believe in random acts of kindness. And we are here today as descendants of many random acts of kindness. That's how our parents and our grandparents got together. An extension of kindness to one another, and they thought, wow, I want to know this person better. Let's have children. Usually it happens pretty fast. But my life is a multifactorial equation, and I've been a science fiction buff since I was a child, and I've been a Star Trek fan, ever since I was like 12 years of age. So imagine my surprise when a few years ago, Brian Fuller and Alex Kurtzman, who write Star Trek, they got CBS contract for the next Star Trek, which is called Star Trek Discovery. So they arranged for a meeting, and they called me up. There's 12 writers in the dungeon. They said, Paul, we're supposed to write the next Star Trek. We don't have the foggiest idea where to go. Do you have any ideas? Now, my partner Pam and I live in a house on a remote island on Cortez Island, British Columbia, at the base of Desolation Sound, an incredibly beautiful place. And I built my place to mimic Star Trek Enterprise, the ship. So I said, this is crazy. I've been a Star Trek fan all my life. I'm standing on the deck of Starship Agaricon. That's what our place is called. Many of you know that, who've been there. And I said, I have some ideas, let me rip. I said, turn on your tape recorder and just, number one, let's be very clear about this. I don't need any acknowledgement. I don't want any money. You don't have to send me a contract. I just really believe in Star Trek because it celebrates biodiversity, kindness, working collaboratively together. Science fiction predicts science fact. We all know many examples, the flip phone, et cetera, in Star Trek. And so I ripped on this. And I told him, all this stuff. And then I said, I always wanted to be the first astromycologist. They said, astromycologist? Whoa, never heard that phrase. I go, yeah, I made it up. And he said, what's an astromycologist? And I said, well, astromycologists would use fungi to terraform other planets because fungi create soil. And we actually did research with NASA and growing mushrooms on regolith, moon dust and Mars dust. And so they got real excited about it, and I explained it. And then I said, you know, on Warp Drive, how the Starship Enterprise zooms and all the stars kind of trail past you as streams. I said, you don't need that. With the mycelial web and dark matter, you can instantaneously jump anywhere in the universe by bonding with mycelium. So, okay, I did this for about 2 hours, and I didn't hear from him about 3 months. And they called me back and said, Paul, your dream is going to come true. I go, what do you mean? It says, well, we took your ideas, we're running with this, our writers have been super inspired, and we're happy to announce that we are creating a new character in Star Trek. Astromycologist Lieutenant Commander Paul Stamets. So for 4 seasons, I've been a character on Star Trek. So science fiction predicts science fact. The mycelium is a network. We all know that mycelium mimics neurons, and mycelium mimics dark matter in the universe, and the computer internet. So it's the web of life and the internet and the nodes of crossing that we have here, or your computer scientist junkies know about nodes of crossing. So the more that we make the complexity and the more we increase fractalization and habitats, the more micro-niches, the more organisms, the more guilds that we can create for collaboration. So it's basically network theory, what we see at the smallest levels microscopically to the most expansive levels in the universe, is what I believe is a universal truth. There's universal truths in life, and sometimes it just hits you. And that spark made me really excited about mycelium. And so I'm going to share with you, and Stefan and I talked about this, and then we're going to share with you something that is incredibly prophetic. I think it's the next clip. This has never been shown before. I'm getting shivers. Never been shown before. I quarantined it. Now, great deep gratitude to Louis Schwartzberg. It's a 1.5 minutes. It was filmed in 2018, 2 years before the pandemic. Now, I mentioned agarikon. It's an old growth mushroom, only grows in the old growth forest. It's on the red list of extinction here in Europe. It's illegal to pick. We still have it in Washington, Oregon, British Columbia, Northern California. I've accumulated the largest cultural library of agarikon in the world, 120 strains. It's my most valuable possession. I have a company at fungi.com. I have 132 employees. I own the whole company. I registered fungi.com for $28, by the way. Patients. Let's not get into controversy of vaccinations and things. It doesn't matter. No matter what happens, your immune system is going to benefit. And this is why I said I believe mycelium is the immunological network of nature. It's going to help against birds, swine. Did you know all milk in the United States is now contaminated with bird flu? You didn't know that? Did you know only ultra pasteurization? This is 240 degrees, which is above the boiling point of water, which means it has to be pressurized for at least 7 seconds. Pasteurization is 140. What temperature does H5N1 survive to? 140. Nature's a numbers game. Hundreds of millions of viruses inside of a glass of milk. We have too many patient zeros that are combining these viruses. We will have a flu pandemic. 48% of you, if you get bird flu, will die within 10 days. And we just got challenges in the car. I said 40%. And I was with Marc and Pam and Dina, and I said, let's ask ChatGPT. And I was wrong. It's 48% of people will die, based on 879 people the past 20 years who got it. We have many, many viral pandemics coming. We live in a state of viral storms because of factory farming, degrading of natural systems, loss of biodiversity. The mycelium is this network, an immunological network in nature that builds healthy communities. And we are a network. The computer industry is a network. AI is a network. You bet on networks and you'll bet on your survival.
Beautiful. Personal question. With your personal experiences with mushroom, what do you believe its it's consciousness expanding, it's opening new doors and ways. How would you say, how much did the mushrooms experiences helped you to find certain solutions?
It's all rooted in my experiences with psilocybin mushrooms. I do have a new book that just came out by Random House, Psilocybin Mushrooms in Their Natural Habitat. It's a beautiful book, 300 color pages. It goes over this. I do have a startup. We've been in stealth mode. Pam is a co-founder. We're at mycomedica.com. We raised $66 million. We still have $33 million in the bank. We are targeting PMDD, premenstrual dysphoria disorder, which is an untreatable currently condition. Then we go into Parkinson's. We're doing another round. So psilocybin, I think, is the most significant rediscovered or discovered molecule in the history of medicine. There's 263 clinical trials at clinicaltrials.gov. Think about 263 clinical trials. 30 years ago, there was none. So psilocybin has opened up my mind's eye. I think it's a genius molecule. And the Aztecs used it for seeing into the future, to finding lost objects, and to diagnose illnesses. How interesting, because at least two of those is certainly represented in my life. Psilocybin makes nicer people. Psilocybin increases intelligence. It docks with the receptors. In the past 2 years, we know now that psilocybin stimulates new neurons to grow, new dendritic spikes. They touch, new synapses are formed, synaptogenesis, and you end up creating more neural networks for creative thinking. We have a crisis in creativity. Psilocybin is a genius molecule. Please go to mushroomreferences.com. You can look up many of these articles, and please pay attention to rootstothrive.com. Pam leads, I think about 100 people end-of-life distress using high doses of psilocybin legally in Canada. And the patient outcomes are over 80% successful. And so we're all gonna die, new news, and this helps people transition. But if we can keep Einsteinian knowledge of elders at the top of their game, so we can transfer the knowledge to the next generation, then should be a priority. I think psilocybin should be made legal to available everybody on this planet. It reduces crime, it reduces depression, anxiety. It does so much. This is a revolution from the underground. This is a network revolution that we're seeing, across different scales. And we have come to a time critical. Well, we are in control of our destiny, or our destiny can be hijacked by short-term commercial interests. It's time for us people to rise up in unison, collaboration, networking as we're doing here. This is a beautiful potential outcome. We can do this. It's scalable. It's available. Costs 10 cents per heroic trip on psilocybin that can change your life forever. And you only have to do it once in your lifetime or once a year. I mean, it's incredibly inexpensive medicine to use.
Could I get some psilocybin, and how much should I take?
I do not make medical recommendations.
I wished I could do one. I wished I could have once a mushroom trip with her. And the thing is the following. I just said, we talked before in the panel, my grandma takes since 10-15 years sleep pills every night.
10-15 what?
Since 10-15 years she takes pills to sleep.
Yep.
Now, when I went to her with a super potent and high quality CBD oil, and I was like, hey grandma, Nani, I have something for you, please try it without the pills to go to sleep, try the CBD. What is it, my son? It's cannabis. No, I don't take drugs, right? But she takes in the sleep pills, right? So I love my mom, I want her the best, right? And I wish her to overcome some health issues, right? And I believe that it would be a way to heal. Now, I know my mom how the label of our parents, this is drugs, right? How can we overcome this?
I think I have a really good answer for you. Mycomedica, our startup company, mycomedica.com, our sweet spot is what we call the museum dose. How many people know what the museum dose is? The museum dose, see, there's a microdose, which is, you can't feel the effect. And the museum dose, you get liftoff. It's called the museum dose because friends, do like 1 gram of psilocybe cubensis, and they go to the museum. You can always tell them because they're always wearing sunglasses inside, and they're unusually happy. But what we have narrowed down to, rather than needing a high pharmaceutical dose for the Great Epiphany, where you have to have attention and safety and doctors and, a hospital or a clinic or some sort of sitter with you, we are very much excited about the museum or medium dose just as you go to sleep, because that's when you're repairing. That's why you sleep, folks. You sleep so your body can repair itself. Well, that's also when neurons are rebuilding. So the medium dose is our sweet spot with Mycomedica, and we really are excited because what happens, Mom, if you take this, the museum dose, you'll feel just a little bit of a liftoff. Much like I hate to make the analogy to alcohol, but I don't know what else to make it. It's like having a glass of wine. Just a little bit, And then what do? You hug your pillow. Your pillow is your therapist. Your pillow is your friend. And you'll fall asleep. Rick Doblin and I were just on a panel, and I presented this, and Rick was looking really confused, and he goes, well, I do LSD, microdosing LSD or medium doses, and I can't go to sleep. I said, well, there's a big difference between LSD and psilocybin. Psilocybin makes you yawn. And then, so I look up in ChatGPT, and yawning is just as a precedent to sleep. And so ChatGPT has this great thing on building neural networks subsequent to yawning. So we think the Mycomedica is truly in the sweet spot. You don't need a clinic. You can do it at home. It'll be a nootropic vitamin. We all suffer from neurodegeneration related to age. So we want to target not only the people who have mental health issues, but the near normals. Most of us, it's like the weather. We will have bad times, but many of us are the near normals. To increase the intelligence and the compassion of people on this planet could be a game changer. This is why I think it should be made free, but that's never going to happen. So that's why we created Mycomedica.
Thank you so much, guys. A round of applause for Paul.
How we live life on Earth, a daily process of regenerative evolution, living evolution. We're living human beings from the moment we're born to the moment we die. We're growing and evolving every second of the day. We have quadrillions, quintillion processes going on in our body every second of the day. More importantly than our body, the world around us is evolving and growing and changing exponentially every second of the day. The Earth is turning and rotating thousands of miles an hour. Life is growing. We just heard from Paul how quick mycelium fungi grows. 5 days you can have full spores and growth of mycelium. In a world that is growing exponentially every second of the day, if you and I, as human beings, our organizations, our businesses, only improve incrementally and don't have that same evolutionary track of life, what happens? We fall behind exponentially. You know, it's really interesting when we mimic the original operating systems of life. Regeneration. It's 4.3 billion years old, is how life on Earth started 4.3 billion years ago. It's a symbiotic process from the Luca that Paul talks about in the foreword that he writes in my book, in the book as well. Regeneration's not a new trend. It's not agriculture. it's all of life. It's the operating system of life. And the more we mimic that, and the more we apply that in how we live life in our world, the better our life will go. And that's the future I really see. Shifted to regeneration, and he gets the bigger vision, and he's still on that journey, but he's working his ass off to get there, to do it. But I sometimes have to reel him back in that we're not all in the luxury and wellness, that we need to do something for the real future, and it's really where he's going and what he wants in the heart of hearts. So I just wanted to it's an impossible place to do it. You think, oh, do it in Guatemala or do it somewhere where it's already beautiful and out. No, that's where we need it the most, in these urban jungles, New York, you know.
It's the same with the House of Trust. We go to Davos, to the belly of the beast, and build a lighthouse. Same here.
Belly of the beast.
And exactly. The CGI is real.
Yes.
The real
now,
one,
Alex, yes.
What is really very important, that you understand, this is reality. So the building will be ready in months. So we already finalize even well-being energy structure from the crystals. We implement 16 tons of 18 different type of crystals to balance energies inside the building. So, and when we are talking about the quality of the water, it's not clean the water. It's create living, harmonized, even sound vibrationally harmonized living water. And all in all water in the building body, from showers, bathrooms to your drinking source, is really make everyone flourish.